What is your favorite thing to do? Some may say it's spending time with family and friends, others may say it's playing video games and maybe winding down after a long workday. Well, what if I told you my favorite thing to do is Games of chance like roulette or blackjack haven't historically been in my favor, but today I'm going to test my luck in my favorite game, but a completely random wheel decides my encounters, a roulette lock. As said before, I'll only be allowed to catch one Pokemon per route, decided by the spin of a wheel. I will have to catch the first Pokemon of that species on the route, so no re-rolling for natures or abilities. I will loosely be following the level cap of the next gym leader, and I'll also be following the no dupe clause. I'm hoping this roulette lock will give me the chance to appreciate some Pokemon I've never used before, and if I do manage to defeat this challenge run, I'll be heading to the casino with 100 of my real dollars to try to double my money, so stay tuned if you want to see if I can do that. With all that covered, let's jump right into the first ever Pokemon White Tooth roulette lock. We meet Professor Juniper, name ourselves Phison, and we're welcome to Eastern Unova, inspired by New Jersey. Aspertia City is where we begin our adventure, and it's also where we meet our rival, Casino, who's already taunting me about losing my $100. Eventually, we make our way to Bianca, who offers to let us pick our very first Pokemon. I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda hoping for Tepig here. It's my favorite of the three, and it was my very first Pokemon back in the day. But instead, the wheel lands on Oshawott, and honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that. Water types are gonna be pretty hard to find, I feel like, later down the road, so I'm perfectly fine with this choice. We name him Blackjack, the best game at the casino in my opinion, and almost immediately Casino challenges us. To his credit, he actually uses his brain and picks Snivy, but it doesn't matter. Blackjack handles business, and our journey officially begins with a win. After saying our goodbyes, we step out onto Route 19 and spin the wheel for our second encounter. I wasn't exactly thrilled with the options here, but we landed on Purloin. Bubble, short for Bubble Craps, joins the team. Flosessi Ranch is to the north, and Casino wants another chance, but he doesn't get in the way this time. And then comes our third encounter, Lillipup. Not what I wanted at all, especially with the unique encounter pool here. I would have much preferred Mareep or Riolu for their future power, but this is a roulette lock. You don't always get what you want. That said, we do find one with Intimidate, which is massive this early on, so Roulette earns a spot on the team. For some reason, every single time I play this game, I completely forget that you have to drag yourself all the way back to Aspertia City to fight the first gym leader. And after beating us some gym trainers, it's time to face our familiar friend, Sharon. The battle is pretty straightforward. Roulette burns through Patrat, forces out the potion, weakens Lillipup, and then Blackjack steps in to finish the job. Just like that, the first badge is ours. We arrive in Verbank City and immediately get another encounter in the Verbank complex. Spinning the wheel, there's a lot of great choices here in this encounter pool, and I was really happy to land on Growlithe. Another Intimidate Pokemon and probably a very rare fire type on this adventure, Slots joins the party. While grinding in the complex, Roulette evolves into Herdier before the Verbank City gym, and this gym's theme is definitely one of the coolest in the region. I love the mix of purple and turquoise, and Roxy's Venipede guitar goes so hard. The battle went as you'd expect. Blackjack takes the lead against Coughing, burns through Roxy's super potion, and picks up Razor Shell on the level up, which is huge going forward. When Whirlipede comes out, Roulette steps in, barely tanks a couple Venishocks, and finishes the job. Roxy goes down, Blackjack evolves right after the battle, and just like that, the second badge is ours. After that, we do everyone's favorite unskippable Pokestar Studios, but let's skip to the favorite part. Castelia City. Man, simple cutscenes like this, pushing the DS to its limits at the time, it just doesn't hit like this anymore. As soon as we arrive, we meet Iris and end up heading into the Castelia sewers with Casino. I don't know if Casino is dragging me down here as some type of intimidation tactic, but I really love these forced double battles with an NPC. It's really helpful for grinding experience, and also you don't have to run back to the Pokemon Center every single time. Down here, we also pick up Bingo the Grimer in the sewers and Ten the Woobat in Relic Passage. After dealing with some Team Plasma grunts and getting Berg back to the gym, we also meet one of my favorite characters, Colress, even if he is just some stereotypical self-interested scientist. But finally, we can go to the Castelia City gym to challenge Berg and his bug types. First out is his Swadloon, and I send out Bingo. I immediately realize that's a huge mistake, so I switch into Slots and luckily get a free switch in. We burn Berg's super potion with one Flame Wheel and quickly take down Swadloon without taking any damage. Next, Blackjack comes out to deal with Dwebble, and Bingo is sent out to face face Levani. I was fishing for the poison here, and we get it just before Bingo faints. Nice shot, bud. After this, all it takes is slots with one flame wheel, and Levani goes down. The third gym badge is ours. After beating Berg, we head north. Route 4 houses a very special Pokemon to me. Okay, for those who don't know, Sandile is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and Crocodile is an absolute menace, so I'm really hoping we land him here. We do, and I've never been happier with this pickup. We end up rolling one with Intimidate, which is still good, but I would have loved Moxie here because the thing is just unstoppable in the late game. Whatever though, I'm happy to do a run with Sandile, aka Ace. I completely forgot just how expansive the desert region north of Castelia City is. We explored the desert resort and Relic Castle and picked up a Sandshrew and Yamask. I was fighting for a reason to throw Yamask on my team because I really do like Rodriguez, but I decided to stick with our current squad because of some future encounters I was hoping for. Continuing north, we finally reached the end of the desert and enter Nimbasa City. I always remember that Elisa's team always gives me some type of problem. Luckily we have Ace, but Emolga will be an issue with its flying type avoiding ground attacks. I decided to do some grinding before the gym and Ace evolves. My team's suddenly looking a lot more powerful. After some time we challenge Elisa. She starts with Emolga and I send out slots. Emolga immediately uses a hard-hitting Volt Switch to bring in Flaffy, which takes 2 Fire Fangs before we luckily get the burn, although slots goes down to a Volt Switch. Emolga comes back out and we send out the newly evolved Ace. Ace uses a strong crunch but gets paralyzed and takes Emolga down after another crunch. Flaffy comes back out and another crunch takes it down. Alessa's final Pokemon Zebstrika comes out. Ace is very low and goes down but takes Zebstrika to half before it heals. Roulette comes out and eats a Volt Switch before using crunch and getting a huge defense drop. The next turn, Roulette survives with 1 HP before using another crunch to take down Zebstrika. Elisa hands over the 4th gym badge. After the battle, I picked up a few encounters. Spade the Solosis on Route 16, Club the Venipede in Lost Lorn Forest, and Diamond the Minccino on Route 5. We get another lore drop with the new and old factions of Team Plasma after the events of Black and White. The division of En and Ghetsis' clans and the internal struggles that even low-level grunts show is so captivating and builds the world around the player. And, oh, human physical violence, I forgot about that one. Bro, is this guy's name genuinely rude? Anyway, we're in Driftveil City to battle Clay, the ground-type gym leader. And holy aura, we take on the second best cowboy in fiction. Clay starts with his Krokorok and I send out Blackjack. Water Pulse one-shots Krokorok and the following Sand Slash. Excadrill comes out last and a Water Pulse finishes it off, giving Blackjack the clean sweep, our 5th gym badge from Clay. Before leaving town, we go on a quick double battle Team Plasma Gauntlet with Casino and Sharon, and then head north towards Chargestone Cave. Chargestone Cave has a really cool mystical field filled with all sorts of electric Pokemon, and I was really hoping for one here. I'm really happy with all of the encounters here. Klink is one of those Pokemon I've really wanted to use, but honestly just never gotten the chance. Any of these electric types would be especially helpful with the upcoming Flying Gym, and with the spin of the wheel, we land on Joltik, which is another Pokemon I've never really gotten the chance to use, and I'm very happy because this next gym would have been pretty rough without it, even though he is still a bug type. Poker the Joltik is a must-add to the party. Roulette evolves into Stoutland and Blackjack into Samurott as well in Chargestone Cave. Our RouletteLocke team is starting to shape up very nicely. Emerging into Mistralton City, we finally meet Professor Juniper in the flesh and she gives us the Master Ball. We also meet Skyla, and speaking of Skyla, we can do some grinding and then immediately head over to the gym. I gotta say, this wind turbine is insanely infuriating at times, but this gym design is one of my favorites and only behind one other gym in Unova. We make it to Skyla and start our battle. She sends out Woobat and I start with Roulette. Roulette takes a soft hit and retaliates with a crunch that does massive damage. Skyla burns her Hyper Potion and Roulette does more huge damage with another crunch. Roulette gets immobilized by a track but quickly overcomes this and crunches Swoobat down. Next, Swanna comes out and we trade some hits before Roulette goes down to an Air Slash. Blackjack comes out and does some soft damage before going down. Poker then attacks with a strong Electro Ball that takes out the little HP Swanna had left. Skarmory comes out and then Poker stays in to do about half of Skarmory's HP with Electro Balls. Then Slot comes out with 2 Fire Fangs and finishes the battle. Skyla hands over the 6th gym badge and we are quickly filling our badge case. To head to the next town we have to take a plane, but we first need to go get Professor Juniper from whatever side quest she was on. We head through Route 7 and into Celestial Tower, where we tell Juniper to get a move on back to Mistralton City. At the other end of the route, we find Marshall from the Elite Four just randomly hanging out and guarding the entrance to this cave. We head back and meet up with Skyla and Juniper to fly over to Lentimas Town, and Bianca too, with this really awesome backdrop as we fly away. After landing, Juniper drops some lore about the protagonist of Pokemon Black and White and tells us we should have a word with Drayden about the dragon-type Pokemon of the Unova region. Lentimos Town also has a Firestone, and we are finally able to evolve Slots into an Arcanine for a huge power boost. There's really not that much going on in Lentimos Town, so I walk over to Undella Town where Casino immediately challenges me. Honestly, he kinda roughs me up here, but we end up winning. But in bigger news, Ace finally evolves at level 40 into Crocodile, which I'm super excited about because this Pokemon is not only part of my favorite line, but such a menace in battle. This part of the story has us jumping from town to town pretty quick. After doing some trainer battles and refusing the scripted encounter of Cobalion for Aura, we meet up with Juniper and Bianca in Lacunosa Town. We get some really cool lore about the Giant Chasm and the great dragon-type legendary Pokemon of Unova from an elder of the town before meeting up with Casino again to battle Zenzelin for the first of many times. After roughing them up, we continue forward towards Opelucid Town to finally talk to Drayden. On the way, Poker evolves into Galvantula and our team is pretty much complete with the exception of Spade. But I have a plan for a special replacement I could roll on a route pretty soon. We also randomly run into this guy with a 999 battle win streak and we absolutely crush his hardened streak. And nothing ever comes of this. Yeah, I think that's pretty funny. And Opelucid City, you could just feel the aura coming through the screen with this town. Opelucid City's design is so amazing with differing designs depending on the version you're playing. White 2's design honoring the past is my favorite of the two, but both reflect the significance of the location and the region's culture and ideals around dragon-type Pokemon. Even the map descriptions differ between versions, an emphasis on preserving the past and its traditions for White, and the rapid change and lack of the past in Black, both reflecting the overarching philosophical themes of the main story. And to top it all off, the gym design is absolutely amazing. With you controlling a literal dragon, choosing which battle type you prefer the two trainers above you in order to progress towards the head, and you get to finally face Drayden at the top. I knew going into this battle that it was going to be extremely difficult, but I didn't really know what was to come. Drayden sends out Druddigon and I send out Ace. We trade some hits but both end up using Hyper Potions to reset the field. Ace goes down to her revenge with Druddigon in the red, and honestly I thought this battle was over here. But Poker comes in and uses a Signal Beam to take out Druddigon. However, we're not out of the woods yet, as Flygon takes down Poker without taking any damage. Blackjack comes out next and gets an insanely clutch Confusion from Water Pulse, then survives with 5 HP before we get a free heal while Flygon goes down to hitting itself. Drayden's ace, Haxorus, comes out, and as soon as I see him using Dragon Dances, I know this may not end well. I try to fish for the confusion with Water Pulses, but Blackjack gets forced out by a Dragon Tail, and I have to send out Spade, who's kinda just holding his spot for now. However, I take this chance to heal up Blackjack and send him back out. Blackjack then lands a massive Water Pulse that could have just saved us. Another crit Water Pulse finally lands a Confusion, and the next turn Haxorus takes itself out in Confusion. We win the 7th gym badge. I did not think we were winning that one. After the gym, Drayden tells us he protects an item called the DNA Splicers that could be used to fuse the legendary dragons. And then Team Plasma shows up on a flying pirate ship and literally starts ice bombing the city. Great, it's Zenzelin again, talking about stealing the DNA Splicers for Team Plasma to take over the world or something. The Shadow Triad gets their hands on them, and now it's our job to stop a possibly cataclysmic event from happening. But that can wait for now, because we've got an 8th gym badge to collect. We immediately backtrack to Honolulu City, where the 8th and final gym awaits. Honestly, looking at my team, this gym went pretty much how you'd expect. Ace bulldozes Carracosta, Poker Electro Balls Wailord, and Roulette crunches Jellicent. With that victory, we have officially defeated all 8 gym leaders of the RouletteLocke. But before heading off to the Elite Four, Casino lets us know that we have to deal with Team Plasma first. You know, something like stopping them from taking over the world with the power of the Fused Dragon legendary Pokemon. But actually, long overdue is our final and last team member slot, which I've been saving for Route 22. And with the last spin comes Mienshao. Wow, actually this works out pretty well for type coverage in the Elite Four. Baccarat, the last member of our RouletteLocke team, joins the party. We meet up with Casino by the Giant Chasm and enter Team Plasma's ship. Casino tells us to go on ahead and deal with the bosses. Eventually we make it to the control room and Colress reveals his real intentions, no longer aligning with Team Plasma and saying he's more interested in his own goals. However, we're still going to need to beat him to continue on. Colress's steel types do give us some issues, especially his Klinklang, which hits really hard with Giga Impact. Ace continues to show his usefulness though, and with the help of the others we take down Colress. He lets us continue on to finally meet Getsis face to face. He runs off and this scene breaks me every time I see it. Seeing that Casino's sister's Purloin is now evolved and no longer recognizes Casino after being with Team Plasma for all those years, yeah, sorry bro. We can take out the Shadow Triad for him though and chase after Getsis into the Giant Chasm. Kirim is revealed, and just like that, tries to slime us out, but N swoops in and Reshiram saves us. This means that Ghetsis is able to use the DNA splicers to fuse Kirim and Reshiram in this really cool cutscene for the DS, and Kirim is no problem for us to take out. After foiling his plans, we face Ghetsis to finally hopefully take down Team Plasma. After a swift battle, Baccarat being out there for Hydreigon to metaphorically hit himself, we defeat Ghetsis, and Team Plasma's plans are officially defeated. Just like that, with the world saved, it's time for our voyage through Victory Road, and Casino meets us there for one last battle. It's been a long time since we started our journey together back in Aspertia City, and I can't believe it's almost over. At the beginning of this, I was so focused on taking Casino down, but maybe it really was all about making sure I'm walking out with more than $100. Which is why I go on to show Casino no mercy and take down his team pretty quickly. Casino thanks us for this journey together and says maybe we will end up beating this challenge and walking away from the casino up. Thanks bro, guess you're not so bad after all. With a great feeling in my bones, we ascend the rest of the mountain and enter the Pokemon League. The Elite Four, the best trainers in the region, trying to end the run. I know my team is ready, and even though I picked none of them, I wouldn't trade any of them for any other team right here. Entering the first chamber, I can feel the souls of the defeated surround me as I ascend the stairs. Elite Four Chantel descends to face the challenger. Cofagrigus versus Ace begins our run at finishing this. Some crunches waste her full restore and feint Cofagrigus. Chandelure and Golurk go down just as easily to Ace. Poker comes out to deal with Drifveil, and the Master of Ghosts is defeated. One down. The second gym is home to the Psychic, and I can feel her power falling from the sky. Elite Four Caitlyn emerges from her meditation to face the challenger. Ace and Musharna start the battle, but Reuniclus is dragged out to take the blow. Sigilyph, Gothitelle, and Musharna are all crushed by Ace's murderous intentions. The Psychic gets swept by the challenger. 2 down. The third chamber puts the challenger in the ring and the lights turn on bright. The gravity of the moment is starting to set in, but the fight is nowhere near over. Elite Four Marshall is challenged to a brawl, and the fight will get dirty. The challenger's Ace takes the field to face the Master's throw. Easily defeated, but Mienshao evens the fight by feinting Ace. Blackjack is tossed into the thick of it, but scalds Mienshao and Conkeldurr, allowing Poker to finish them off. Salk is the final fighter, and with the help of the whole team, Baccarat can fly down from the top ropes and finish the fight. 3 down. The fourth and final chamber houses the Master of Darkness, and sinister aura fills the air. Elite Four Grimsley knows he's the final stand before the champion and won't let his dark types be easily defeated. Ace steps onto the field, and Leopard and Bisharp don't stand a chance. Scrafty gives Ace a challenge, but it does not stop her. Grimsley has his own Crocodile, and an Earthquake takes it into the red. And Ace avoids the attack and finishes the battle. After the battle, Baccarat gets just enough experience to evolve into Mienshao, completing the team just in time. 4 down. It's time to step up to the pinnacle of this challenge. Champion Iris stands before the completion of this run. It's time. We challenge Iris for the title of champion. Baccarat and Hydreigon start the battle. Baccarat hits hard with a Drain Punch before being taken down. Blackjack comes out and takes care of the rest, and Poker is here to Thunderbolt Lapras for a quick feint. Ace hits a field for Druddigon, and both Titans exchange big hits, but Ace survives the brawl. Iris sends out her Haxorus, and Slot sadly gets taken down quickly to allow Ace to come back stronger. Ace is sent back out, and Outrage does huge damage repeatedly to take out the dragon, but Ace is confused by Blind Rage. Blackjack comes out and can Waterfall Aggron to force Iris's final Pokemon out. Blackjack and Poker feint to the dinosaur, and Ace barely hangs on to deal some big damage before also going down. Roulette is our last hope, and some Thunderbolts defeat Iris for good. We have done it. We defeated the RouletteLocke with our team of randomly selected Pokemon. It's time for us to enter ourselves into the Hall of Fame. And that's it. That's how I defeated the first ever Pokemon White 2 RouletteLocke by letting a wheel select my team. And as we descend the stairs of champion, some may ask what happened next. Did the casino end up winning? If you made it this far in the video, I would really appreciate it if you took a moment to think about subscribing or leaving a like on the video. In 2026, I'm really trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so again, if you could be part of that, I would really appreciate it. This video for me has been a really big passion project over the last 6 weeks or so. It's the most time and resources spent editing and making and playing that I've ever spent on a video so far. So again, I would really appreciate your support, but other than that, I hope you stick around and I hope to speak to you soon.